Hello, everyone. I'm Susanna Ngwala, an associate professor in the linguistics department here at UWC and joint holder of the UWC Chair in Media Inclusion and Diversity. I'm really excited to be part of what's happening here today, albeit in a small and remote way. I hope to be able to meet you and join you on a future occasion. I've been asked to share some thoughts on the theme of today's gathering, namely the role of feminism on digital platforms, reclaiming power, voice, and visibility. Now, I'm not a feminist scholar, but as someone who is interested in how marginalized people assert their voice in spaces like media that are meant to exclude them, I do share a deep affinity with feminist scholarship when it comes to the power of using particularly communication and communication tools to dismantle oppressive structures and build new ones that would be more inclusive. So in thinking about the topic, the thought that came to mind was this quote by Bell Hooks. She says, "Moving from silence into speech is for the oppressed, the colonized, the exploited, and those who stand in struggle side by side, a gesture of defiance that heals, that makes new life and new growth possible." Based on this, the thought I want to put forward today on the feminist role when it comes to the reclamation of voice, power, and visibility on digital media platforms is that digital platforms can be the new frontiers of this gesture of defiance because they can allow unmediated, direct communication that bypasses the traditional gatekeepers of media and power. So to flesh this out, here are 3 points in the 5 minutes that I have. Number one, digital platforms can serve as a direct tool of political empowerment and visibility. This means that these technologies can circumvent the often biased and male-dominated mainstream media. In some research that I've done looking at how selected female politicians here in South Africa use social media for political engagement, my co-author and I, Dr. Trasbat Zelele, argue that digital platforms allow women politicians to challenge patriarchal media representations, and really they can be the tool that they use to present them as leaders in political spaces. Secondly, digital media presents immense possibility when it comes to cultural and creative reclamation. Here, I'm interested in how these technologies enable creative activism and how people can use humor, satire, arts to deconstruct harmful stereotypes. I once did a study where I looked at a young Black South African satirist, Lesego Tlhabi, who goes by the alter ego of Coconut Kells. And we looked at how she uses her online presence to critique systemic racism through humor. And these technologies afford people like her that opportunity. And then lastly, I believe digital platforms are crucial for the democratization of knowledge, which is the space I'm in. So based on my own experience being an academic who uses digital platforms to talk about my scholarship beyond the ivory tower and to engage with communities, I've really seen this to be the case. And I think that as women, young women in particular, you all who are in the audience today will go on in your different spheres to shape our society. And in this, I'd like to encourage you to use these platforms. Don't be scared of them. Use them to build your own intellectual presence, to challenge the status quo, and importantly, to give voices to other people, because your voice is a powerful tool. And when other people see you use it, it may inspire them to do the same. With that said, we can't talk about reclaiming power, voice, and visibility without acknowledging the very real harms that exist on digital platforms. I've done work, others have done work that shows how digital media can be sites of misogyny And they can be really sites where there's organized harassment of women in particular. So if we think of algorithms, when these are designed without that feminist and inclusive oversight, they can create these very dangerous echo chambers where negativity thrives, people are bullied, and it has real world consequences. Therefore, we must constantly be vigilant, and those of us who are committed to inclusion and diversity in the space must occupy it. So to conclude, I want to leave you with this thought from a scholar called Mary Ann Franks, and she says, if we want online spaces that do not merely replicate existing hierarchies and reinforce radically unequal distribution of social, economic, cultural, and political power, we must move beyond the simplistic and corrosive cliche of the unregulated public square and commit to the hard work of designing for democracy. And my argument to you and my encouragement is that you are part of that process of designing. So occupy the space. Thank you very much, and may you have an inspiring event.